Viking here with Nagel's Gun Shop, and today I've got an exciting couple of options I can show you. These are the Staccato Cs with compact grip, with a couple of different variation and options you can go through. We've got the one with the X cuts here. That's a very popular feature. It adds these little lightning cuts on both sides. These are definitely the way to go. Some people try to do cuts like this aftermarket. You don't want to do that on a gun like this. A lot of those aftermarket ones have problems. These are from factory, done by Staccato. They're done correctly. You know, you'll have all your support from Staccato with that, and it just looks really cool. It's very nice to have. Definitely one of the best looking features they offer. And of course, we also have a couple of other options we can go through. We have the DLC'd barrel. So this has the same coating on this barrel as it does on the slide. It's DLC Diamond Light Carbon. It's a really good finish. It's basically like a really tiny diamonds that are microscopic, and they're so small they become black to light. They don't actually absorb and reflect light anymore. And it's one of the toughest finishes you can get. Extremely rust resistant, extremely abrasion resistant, just shrugs off most holster wear. I have a knife from probably the early 2000s that was one of the first knives that had DLC coating. And despite not being that great of a knife, really, they put the coating on there kind of as a trial run, and it has held up amazingly well. If you clean off the knife, except for the wear on the edge, you can't tell anything has happened to it in decades and decades of use. So it's a really good finish. It works even better on guns than knives. And I'm honestly surprised you don't see it more, although it is a difficult process. Staccato does it all in-house now. I actually went to Staccato Ranch, the place where they make these, just last week. Had a nice tour there, and I got to see the machines they use for this. They are extremely sophisticated. It's a whole room full of equipment, and it does some of the most advanced finishing techniques you will ever see. And they also have a couple other options with DLC, and this one also has the DLC barrel, so that's kind of been hard to get for some people. And it also has the flat trigger, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, Staccato has a great facility, has some of the best quality control I've ever seen, and they have just a huge facility. They have dozens and dozens of machines running night and day. It's pretty cool. The flat trigger is arguments about flat trigger versus the curved trigger. The two options you can see. Curve trigger is more of the traditional 1911 trigger. It kind of tells your finger where to go and how you should hold the gun. However, it also, is the way people are used to feeling these things, and there's no risk of your finger getting trapped in a corner against the trigger guard or against the frame. The flat triggers are more modern. A lot of modern shooters prefer those because they say that it lets your finger place itself naturally on the trigger and not be fighting with the gun. There are some downsides, though. If you have a grip that's pretty low or high, you can kind of get caught between the frame and the trigger, and you can kind of wear on your finger a little bit, maybe give you a blister. So just different opinions. People like either the flat trigger because they think they can get a better grip that way, or they prefer the curved trigger because it guides their finger where to go properly. I think a lot of that's going to come down to you and how your hand holds the gun. Everyone's hands are a little bit different. Some people complain endlessly about Glocks having a horrible grip. Some people say it feels fine. It's because their hands are actually different. Unlike the guns, the human hand is different between every individual. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, there is another model coming. We don't know exactly when. That's going to be a full-size grip version of this platform. It's going to have the skinny mags, like these 15-round C mags. However, they're going to be 17-round mags. So there's going to be a full-size gun equivalent. It's going to be still, the slimmer frame and all of that, but it's going to have a larger grip and a higher capacity magazine. And it's going to get in the same class as like a Glock 17 or a lot of the other traditional service pistols in terms of size. This does have the long dust cover of the C models. That is a big advantage over like the CS, the subcompact they make. The big thing about that is you can fit a full-size light on here, like a Surefire X300 or TLR1. The large lights like that are really good and trustworthy wouldn't fit on the CS because this locking mount here for the Picatinny was further back and there just wasn't enough space to make it work properly. With the longer dust cover on the C and with this notch being forward, you could actually fit a full-size light like a duty handgun wants. And when they go to the larger frame, I'm sure they'll incorporate a similar dust cover design. So you'll be able to fit a real service light on your service pistol that way. But if you're ever in the area, we'd love to put one of these in your hands. You can come drop by at 6201 San Pedro Avenue in San Antonio, Texas. We have these on hand currently, and we're going to keep them in stock as much as possible. They are very popular, though, but, if you call and find out, we might have some we can show you that day. You can reach us at 210-342-5420. If you just have questions about these, we'd be glad to answer them. And you can see them on our website at nagelsguns.net. We'd love to show you one of these or talk to you about them and, see what kind of preferences you have for options.